Good morning, girls. We will continue the chapter lines and angles, and today we are going to study the parallel lines and the transversal, and what type of angles are formed with the parallel lines when a transversal cut those lines. Okay, so we begin with parallel lines, right? Now you all know what are parallel lines. These are the parallel lines, right? A and B. A is parallel to B. These are parallel lines. PQ. P is parallel to Q, or we can also write Q is parallel to P. Okay. Now when a line cut these two lines, means this line which is cutting these two lines, this line is called a transversal, and we denote transversal by the letter T. Most of the times we show it by T. Okay. So what is a transversal? A transversal is a line which cut two lines. Now it is not necessary that transversal will only cut the parallel lines. The transversal can also cut two non-parallel lines, right? So this is A and B, this is the transversal. Now these two are parallel, but these two are not parallel. So we can say that a transversal is a line which cut two lines. They can be parallel lines and they can be non-parallel lines. Okay, now when you can see that, you can see this, when a transversal is cutting these two lines, the angles which are formed here are shown 1, 2, right? Then I take this as 3 and 4, here 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so you can see that there are 8 angles formed when when a transversal cut any two lines. Here also if I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So in both the cases you will see the number of angles formed are how many? 8. Now you also know that there are different kinds of angles. I am rubbing this because we are going to only concentrate today the parallel lines and its properties. Properties means the properties of the angles formed by the parallel lines, and we are going to learn those properties just now. Now you know that the angles which are formed when a transversal cut two lines are corresponding angles, because you have done this in the previous classes. Corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, angles lying on the same side of the transversal, then alternate exterior angles, right? Interior angle, exterior angles, everything. So we are going to first study those type of angles, and then we are going to study the properties of these angles. So let us begin again. See these two lines. We are going to concentrate in this chapter for parallel lines. So every time I will draw the figure with the parallel lines. A and B, transversal, T. Now you can see that angle, suppose I take angle 1 here and 2 here, and these angles 7 and 8. You know, these angles are lying outside the line, so we call 1, 2, 7 and 8 as which angles? Exterior angles. Okay, so these are exterior angles, means they are outside the line, and this also it is outside the line. Then if I take this as 3 and 4, here 5 and 6, so 3, 4, 5 and angle 6, they are what type of angles? Interior angles. Okay, so now you know what are exterior angles and what are interior angles. Now when we talk about the different kinds of angles, I will begin with corresponding angles. Okay, I will begin with corresponding angles. So the first one means the first one is corresponding pair. Look at angle 1. I'll draw the figure again here. These are the two lines AB. This angle 1, this angle 5, right? This angle 2, this angle 6. So we'll go one by one. Angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding to each other. Angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding to each other. Then angle 3 and 7 are corresponding to each other, and 4 and 8 are corresponding to each other. Okay, so these are the pair of corresponding angles. Now what is the property of the corresponding angles for parallel lines? It is when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, the corresponding angles formed are equal in measure, right? As I told you before that the corresponding angles will also be formed in the non-parallel lines, but those angles will not be equal. So this property applies only when the lines are parallel. I repeat, when the two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, the pair of corresponding angles formed are equal in measure, right? This is one property of that is the first property, corresponding angles. Now I proceed with the second type, that is alternate interior angles, right? In the alternate interior angles, you know that firstly the angles will be interior. So remember that interior angles, like if this one I take, this was angle 4 and this was angle 5, right? This is angle 3 and this is angle 6. So I can say that when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, the alternate interior angles formed are equal in measure. So I will write angle 3 is equal to angle 6 and angle 4 is equal to angle 5. So these are what type of angles? These are alternate interior angles, and these alternate interior angles are equal only when the lines are parallel. This is another property. Next, you will learn these properties and write in your notebook. Third one. Again, two parallel lines cut by a transversal T, right? Now, if I take angle this 3 and 5, this side angle 4, angle 6, I am not changing the angle's name again and again because it will be confusing for you. So whatever angles I have taken in the beginning, based on that only I am explaining you. Angle 3 and angle 5 are lying on the same side of the line, that is of the transversal, and 4 and 6 are lying on the other side, that is on the same side of the transversal. So when we talk about these angles, we write angle 3 plus angle 5 is equal to 180 degree and angle 4 plus angle 6 is also equal to 180 degree. Now these angles are called angles lying on the same side of the transversal and they are supplementary. We can also call these angles as co-interior angles. Okay, so these are important properties. Only when the lines are parallel, the angles will be supplementary, and we will call these angles as co-interior angles or consecutive interior angles. So I hope they've understood alternate interior angles and angles lying on the same side of the transversal, also called co-interior angles. Now there is one more type, and that is alternate exterior angles. So again, two lines parallel, T is a transversal. If I take this as 1 and this angle 8, this is angle 2 and this is angle 7. As you can see that these angles are exterior angles, means outside the line. Angle 1 and angle 8 and angle 2 and angle 7, I will name them as alternate. They are alternate and they are exterior angles. Okay, so remember these properties, learn these properties and write in the notebook. Now we can also write the converse of these statements. What is the meaning of the word converse? Converse means opposite. So we write the converse of the statement. You will go through your textbook, all the axioms are given in the textbook. You will mark these and write in a notebook and learn them. If the lines are given A and B, transversal T. Now I am not saying that these are parallel lines. So listen to my property or listen to my explanation. 1 and this was angle 5. This was 2, this was 6. So I will go step by step. If this is given, this is 3, this is 7, and angle 4 and angle 8. Now if these angles are given that they are equal, now you know that these are corresponding angles, right? If one is given, if 1 is equal to 5, this is given in the question. If 1 is equal to 5, 3 is equal to 7, 2 is equal to 6, 4 is equal to 8. If it is given that the corresponding angles are equal, then we will say the lines are parallel. Okay, so what is the converse statement? The converse statement is, if the pair of corresponding angles are equal in measure, then the lines are parallel. Okay, in the first statement it was if the lines are parallel, then corresponding angles are equal. Now it is saying that if the corresponding angles are equal, then the lines are parallel. Okay, similarly we can go with the alternate interior angles also. Same way, if the alternate interior angles are equal, like suppose this is 1 2 3 4 and this is 5, this is 3 and this is 6. So if it is given that 3 is equal to 6 and it is also given that 4 is equal to 5, when the alternate interior angles are equal, then we can say that the lines are parallel. Okay, these properties are given in the textbook, you will learn them. And the third condition will be, if the co-interior angles are supplementary, then the lines are parallel. Okay, if the co-interior angles or angles lying on the same side of the transversal are supplementary, then the lines are parallel. Okay, so you will learn these properties and you will write in your notebook. Okay, now one more property is there. A line parallel to another given line is also parallel to one another, like A, B, C. This is also one property. Like there are three lines. Now A is parallel to B, right? And